Well, greetings, good humans. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Minecraft with Crimo. How you guys doing today? Hope you guys have had a great couple of weeks. As you can see, I mean, it looks like I'm pretty empty here, right? My toolbar and stuff, and I'm not wearing any armor. So yeah, take a look in here. Yeah, I've got nothing, and it's all due to this it's due to one mod. It's due to this one particular mod, which I thought was so fantastic. I wanted to, first, I came across it and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty rad. And then a couple weeks after I found it, I actually saw that Exumavoid did a video. He was talking about all these sort of improvements to the inventory system that could be done by Mojang, and he one of the brief mentions in that video he mentioned this particular mod that I'm talking about, which is Inventorio. So let's take it out right here. So after today, or after right now, basically, here it is right here. Yeah, it's actually really cool, but it's unusable, unfortunately. There's like a fatal flaw in the programming or something. It could be that I'm just sort of being crying mo about things and not understanding where it's broken, but it's definitely broken in a particular spot. So the error in it killed me twice, and this last time I was like, this is actually not. It's just not usable. It's not reliable for this one particular issue that it has. So I'm not sure how to really talk about this or how to make this interesting. I kind of want to show you what the mod does, though, because it is sort of a pretty genius. I can't talk and do. I can't talk about something and do something completely different. I don't know. There's just something. I guess I'm old or whatever. I can't multitask that way. I can't literally. It's like walking and walking and chewing gum at the same time. Crimo cannot do that. Okay, so let's just start at the beginning. I happened to watch, there's YouTube videos, people come out and they sort of, highlight mods or whatever, and I always take a look at them just to briefly see, and obviously I don't want to make anything I'm not going to use any mods that sort of break vanilla and not make it vanilla, so Inventorio is pretty cool. Let me jump back into this view. So it is pretty genius as far as its design and the ideas that the creator had for basically not fixing but expanding the inventory system in Minecraft. So first off, I should actually go into a creative world to show you this, because there's not really a way for me to in survival show you the expansions, but right off the bat you can see we have this little button here that turns on and off the Inventorio extra things. So this thing right here, right away you notice, right, which is super cool. So what this is I believe this is called the tool belt, and this is called the utility belt, I believe. I know this is the utility belt, and this may or may not be the tool belt. First off, this tool belt allows you to get rid of your tools into a sidebar, so into the tool belt, right? So you can so you can open up all these spaces for building blocks, which is really, really cool. You notice that you don't see a tool in your hand, which is kind of weird, right? And this is one design aesthetic that I thought, or a design bit for the UI that I thought would be better to do. So now you see down on the toolbar to the left, there's the utility bar. Now we have something where we can slide through. So using my W key, this is really cool, right? So anything you have in this bar, the utility belt, you can cycle through with a keybind, which is super cool. So you can eat, theoretically you could have fireworks in here, but that's what breaks this mod. But also you could have other things in here. I don't know, there's other things you can use in your offhand, like your totem or whatever, if you have a totem of undying, etc. But that's really cool, right? So I think for the tool belt side of it, where you have the tools, which is right here, these got all your tools over here, it would be very cool if there was a a little square down there to the right of the main hotbar, just like you have the utility belt on the left. It'd be cool if you had a single square down there where you could dial through the different tools you have and have them appear on the screen in a small little icon down there, so you know what you have handy. But the reason it isn't there is because, now look I'm going to walk up to the shulker box. Now you see that thing, you see the little icon pop up when I mine. So this mod is set up to where anytime I don't have an axe, I have a shovel though. Oh, but it's not Silk Touch. But anyway, let's say here, see, it used the shovel. If you look down at the screen, oh, it's efficiency 5 as well. So, oh my gosh. Okay, stop it. So it automatically applies whatever tool you have, whatever the appropriate tool to use on a block automatically gets applied when you hit it. Now, see, I don't have an axe. Otherwise, the axe would pop out and start working. Now, I personally like to have a little bit more control, and I mean, it's a cool feature, and I probably could get used to it. But I do wish there was a little readout, I wish that little square. Keep an eye down there on the bottom left or right of the toolbar. I wish that icon stayed there. There doesn't seem to be a custom setting to leave it up on screen. Another thing it does automatically is it automatically doubles the size of your ender chest, which is pretty wonderful. But then it also adds in, now this is where we need to go to a creative world. So it adds 3 enchantments to the game called Deep Pockets. Deep Pockets, right? So where do our enchantments at? They're not in there? Where do enchantments show up? Oh, here they are. It might be the last one, maybe. Yeah, Deep Pockets 3. I thought there was a 1, a 2, and a 3, and I guess that's wrong. There we go. Deep Pockets. Boom. So now what does our inventory look like? Oh, this is not. Go to survival mode. Here we go. Boom. Now you get an entire new array. Now, as far as I thought there were 3 enchantments. I thought there was Deep Pockets 1, 2, and 3. I believe that's listed in the documentation. So Deep Pockets 1, you would get this first row of additional inventory space. Deep Pockets 2, you'd have 2 more rows. And Deep Pockets 3, you have all 3. And then, of course, Deep Pockets 3 doubles your number of slots in your utility belt. So you can have a lot more items in your offhand, up to 8 items that you could cycle through, right? Which is pretty nifty, if I do say so myself. It's pretty cool. So you can cycle through all these things, and of course you still have your toolbar. So it's super cool. I was like, this actually makes a lot of sense. You could have an extra enchantment. I mean, now you have, the fast sneak, super sneak, whatever it's called, on the pants, and then you could have Deep Pockets, and actually that gives you much more inventory space, which is very, very nice. And then I do really like this thing right here. Just being able to put your tools, like taking them off of your hotbar and putting them on the side is... Mojang should just do that anyway. If they did nothing else from this mod, although I do really like... Even if this just stayed at 4, that would be great. You know, you could have your food and your ender pearls and your totem of undying and your fireworks or whatever. You know, your rockets are flying. That'd be great. But this alone clears up 5 spaces of things that you constantly need, and it would just be a huge benefit, right? So it's pretty cool. It seems really well designed. It's really neat. The reason I had to stop using it, because what happens is in that mod is, first off, the way that there's something glitchy with the firework rockets. It's initially tied to your jump. So every time you jump, it fired a rocket. And when I was in water, it would just fire 40 rockets when I would like swim. And it actually killed me once in the nether when I was doing, and I think I tried to just run and jump, and it gunned a bunch of rockets all of a sudden because I jumped and hit the jump key. Now that was just my bad because I didn't know that you could turn that off. You could unhook it from it's firework rocket boost is co-bound to the jump key. I set it to something else. Oh, I don't know what I set it to. But you had to turn that off. I had to turn that off. But there's another glitch where there are two more glitches. One is, for some reason, my elytra, when using this mod, the elytra, even after just a couple minutes of flying, would just all of a sudden, it would go down to like literally like negative 150 in its durability. I was like, negative 150? Like, what is this? Like, I didn't understand. It didn't break, but then I'd go and heal it up, and it would heal up, and I was like, oh, that's really weird. But it did it like multiple times to where it just within a few minutes, just like would have no durability left. And I didn't understand that. And I'm pretty sure that's just a glitch. It's just a weird glitch that happens with the mod for some reason. And then the final straw was that I was in at the Ender. I healed up everything from the big netherite thing. I was all happy. I had all my stuff, you know, I'd found netherite and everything. I was like, this is super cool. I healed up the elytra. I had the rockets in here along with my other, you know, ender pearls and some food. And then to fly away from my Ender, I did what I normally do, which is I climbed up in a little water trough that I have there, and I jumped out of the water trough and hit the button to fly. They were in my hand. They were in my offhand. They were in the selected offhand, and they didn't fire. So I cycled quickly to a ender pearl. I threw it. It hit the water, but it didn't get me on top. So I fell down one more time, and I've just tried and tried to make that rocket fire, and it would not. The firework rocket would not fire, and I just fell into the void and lost all my stuff. So that was just another glitch where the rocket just simply didn't fire, and I was like, okay, I can't use this mod. I mean, I could use the mod and not use firework rockets, but that seems silly. But the whole durability thing with the elytra 2 is another glitch that I find completely unusable. So it makes this mod completely unusable. It seems like it probably can be fixed, but I think the mod's been out, I think, for about a year, and I saw some statement from the coder, the guy who invented the mod. He has a video out about it. It's like about a year old or something, but I think he's stopped working on it. You know, he's got day job stuff or whatever, and he isn't working on it anymore. So anyway, there are just really cool concepts that I think Mojang would be, these two in particular would be super, super cool. And the deep pockets enchantment is super, super cool, to give you just more spaces to use. So anyway, I thought it would be pretty cool, and I wanted to show it off, and then it broke and killed me and lost all my stuff and was broken. So I'm here to tell you it has a fatal flaw and that you probably should not use it. Or if you do, I mean, I don't want to tell anybody not to use it. I mean, just be aware. And maybe your experience will be different than mine. Maybe there was a conflict with some other mods or something. I don't really know, but it's whatever. It's a neat concept, but it's unusable. All right. Okay. So here we are. We're back, and we're back. I hate when YouTubers say that. It's like a cut is instant for the audience, but you know, YouTubers want to say, we're back, or I'll meet you over here, or whatever. Anyway, as you can see, I'm redressed, and I've got plenty of stuff in my inventory. I think everything's back to normal, relatively speaking. Yeah, I think so. All right, I got a smite sword. That's all I had there. All right, so here I've got all the stuff here for today's build, which is going to be pretty cool. It's a pretty cool build, I think. It's another house. It's another abode. This is for our, I'm not sure, either the weaponsmith or the toolsmith. I think it's for the weapons. I'm sorry, I think it's for the toolsmith. So it's going to go right over here in this area right here. And I've already got my light Matica thingy pulled up, which you won't be able to see, but you can see all the spots here where there's things I got to tear down. So, yeah. This is kind of the build site here for the house. So it's going to fill in this area right here. Anyhow, okay, let's get to it. And I'll tell you about, I'll tell you a little story. Yeah, I've mentioned before that I was thinking about getting a cat, and I was thinking about it for quite a few months, actually. And I was really debating against the merits of having a cat. I like cats. Growing up, I had them. I've had them as an adult or whatever. My kids have had them, whatever. But I do have a 1-bedroom apartment, and I'm on the second floor, so there's no outdoor area for the cat to go in, so the cat would have to be interior. But the main thing I was worried about or most concerned about is the cat box. Living with a cat box in a 1-bedroom apartment. I really don't like, who likes cat poop smells, right? Nobody likes that. But anyway, so months and months ago, I had sort of just let a couple of my friends know, like, hey, if anybody, you ever hear about anybody giving away free kittens or whatever, just let me know. Maybe I'll be interested or whatever. So no big deal. I'd seen this sort of teenage cat, maybe, I don't know, maybe a year old. I'm not sure how big cats get, but anyway, this cat wasn't a kitten, and it wasn't, I don't think, really full grown, but sort of, teenage area, or maybe, anyway, in real years, probably a year old or something. I'd seen a little black cat around the apartment complex, like early in the morning, super early in the morning, once in a while. Like when I'd go out for a shoot or something, like super early in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, 6 in the morning. And she was pretty skittish, but not super skittish. So she would actually come up and let me pet her for a minute, and then she'd cruise off into the, apartment complex or whatever. Yeah, it's cool. And I would pet her once in a while. And this was like, I'd see her like once every 3-4 weeks or something. And then one day, months ago, I'd seen her up outside my front door, walking by my sliding glass door. And, I'd open the door, she'd get a little freaked out, but then she'd kind of come over and I'd give her little pets, and then I'd be like, hey, let me go find you a little snack. Try to go find some cold cuts or something in the fridge, and of course she'd just bolt. By that time, I'd come back. So anyway, and then, just didn't see her very often at all, and didn't think much of it. And then my buddy Beamel, who I'd shown those photographs of before, he called me up one day a couple weeks ago, and he said, hey, I got a friend. She's got kittens. I'm going to get one. If you want one, they're free. She has a black cat. I was like, oh, wow, really? So I was like, okay, let me think about it. So I actually did think about this sat down, and I was like, because I was almost like, oh yeah, cool, I'll just go get the kitten. But then I was like, wait a minute, let me think this through. I was trying to think about where to put the box, and then having a kitten running around. I've got hobby stuff all over the place, because I build models and miniatures, and I've got camera gear, whatever. This apartment is not child-proof or pet-proof. So I decided, ultimately, I was like, nope. After a couple days, I called him up and I said, hey, nah, just take me out of the running for the cat. I don't want the kitten. No thanks. He's like, really? And he already got the little white one, who turned out to be sort of a pain in the ass for him. But anyway, I was like, no, I don't want one. I just don't think I can deal with it. By the way, the curtains, or my blinds in the background, are blowing with the breeze, and I have to leave the windows open because it was like 91 degrees inside my apartment yesterday and today, because I don't have AC. Obviously, I'm recording this a week before it goes out, but yeah, we've had the huge heat wave that happened for you guys last week out here in California, and actually I think across the country. Anyway, so I gotta have the windows open. It's just gnarly. But anyway, so I turned down the cat. Figured, nope, nah, I just don't want to deal with it. I just don't want to deal with the cat. So screw it. And the day that I said that to my buddy, that I said, no, I don't want the cat, this black stray cat cruised by my apartment front door again. And I opened the door and I was like, hey, how you doing, kitty? Hanging out at the front step right there. And I just sort of opened the door and was like, hey, you want to, I don't know, I was kind of curious if she would go into the apartment, but I was also a little bit apprehensive because I was like, I don't know, she probably got fleas or whatever. Although she didn't look very, and this kind of keys into the whole thing, but she didn't look very super stray cattish. She wasn't super duper thin or scrawny, and anyway, she wasn't super clean, but didn't have a collar or anything like that. And but anyway, she came into the apartment, she kind of scoped it out, and we kind of tentatively sort of got along, and we actually started playing a little bit together, and she kind of cruised under my bed. She was just checking out the apartment all over the place, And then she was in here for about 3 hours, and I was like, oh man, like I gotta go get a cat box or something, like, if you're gonna be in here for longer than a few hours, So I was like, hey, I'm gonna cruise out and I'll be right back, So I left the cat in here, just decided to take a shot, just take a chance, let the cat roam free, whatever. So I took off, went and picked up a litter box, litter, food, cat poopers, scooper thing, and box liners, whatever. Picked up all that stuff. Got back here. As soon as I opened the door, cat bolted out onto the little walkway, and it was just gone. I was like, okay, all right, it's cool, whatever. I got 35 pounds of litter and 10 pounds of cat food and a brand new cat box, but I was like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. I really don't want a cat. I decided I didn't want one cat, so I just brought that stuff inside. I was like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. And then a week later, like literally 7 days later, that was on a Sunday. The next Sunday, I just happened to see her walk by the door again super early in the morning, and I opened the door, and said, hey, you want to come back in and hang out? So she came back in, hung out all day, and when she came in, I showed her the litter box. I was like, hey, check it out. Let's open up the litter, and I put the litter in the litter box and put the lid on it. She went and used the litter box immediately, just right away, and I was like, I don't know if you're a stray. Like, it seems like you might have been, like, she might have lived somewhere or been in people's houses before. Anyway, so she used litter box, and the cool thing here, and I'm going to knock on wood. That's my table, my desk right there. But, yeah, her, the odor is really not terrible, which I'm super surprised by. And maybe that's the litter I got. I never used a clumping litter before. I always just got cheap litter, and we would just dump the entire litter box out once a week or whatever. Anyway, got clumping litter, but yeah, it was surprisingly bearable in my apartment, no matter where I put the box. It was fine. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so so she hung out all day that day, and then spent the night. I was like, yeah, just chill out, see if you want to stay at night, whatever. And so she ended up staying for a week. And so I called my my manager, and I was like, hey, the apartment manager. I was like, yeah, I gotta, what do I need to do to have an animal? And she's like, oh, there's no fees or anything. You just need to have an emotional support animal litter. I was like, oh, this is California, so you just go online and get one of those. Anyway, but to be honest, it's kind of interesting. I think the cat actually is sort of emotionally supporting me a little bit. She is actually helping me. It's kind of interesting. Anyway, so she was here for a week, and I talked to the manager and all that. I did feel kind of weird. I was like, I really don't know if this is like a true stray cat. So I went and talked to my neighbor, who is a lady who lives downstairs, and she takes care of or feeds 3 actual stray cats that live like out on the parking lot or whatever. And she had asked me about, like, years ago, she had come over and asked me, like, hey, do you want a cat? Do you want to take one of these stray cats? And I was like, no. Anyway, I went and talked to her, and I was like, hey, told her about the black cat. She's like, oh yeah, we know that cat. My kids played with that cat. She's really nice and everything. And I was like, oh, does that cat have an owner? Like, I don't want to, I was like, she's been in my apartment, and I don't want to take her away from someone else if she's somebody else's cat. So she was like, yeah, someone, sort of that apartment gossip sort of thing. She was like, well, somebody told somebody who told me that this apartment right over here owned that cat, but when I went and checked, that apartment was empty. She's like, I think somebody moved and left their cat here. And I was like, geez, man, who would do that? That sucks. But she was like, well, where's that cat now? And I was like, well, she's in my apartment. She said, how long's she been there? I said, oh, she's been in my apartment for a week. And she said, for a week? Oh, that's your cat for sure. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah. She's like, if a cat is missing and nobody's put up any posters or nobody's talked to the manager, nobody's come knocking on doors or anything looking for the cat, she's like, that cat is yours. And so, yeah, she's my new cat is sitting, who shares the apartment with me. I don't own her or anything like that, we just sort of hang out. We're roommates, I guess. But she's sitting here on, apparently we share the desk now too. I put a little towel up on the desk, and she's actually laying on the desk with me right here. And I took a few days. I didn't want to name her till I kind of knew that she might be staying longer. So, yeah, she's pretty cool. She's actually really nice, pretty affectionate. She does play pretty rough when she, like wrestling, which I really like doing with cats, but she's a little bit rough on the wrestle side. I don't think she quite knows how hard not to bite. She draws the blood every once in a while, but it's okay. But she definitely likes to play, make a little toy with her. I made a little toy for her, a little foam block on a string on a little bouncy rod, and she loves that. She actually will meow for me to play that with her, and she'll go get it out of the room or something. She'll drag the foam string thing out there, the whole fishing rod sort of thing. Anyway, so I spent a few days trying to find out a name, to come up with a name for her, and I was really trying to find something that implied the roaming, like the wandering, roaming sort of animal, or just that factor, and I thought, oh, Ronin's kind of cool. That's, everybody knows what Ronin is, right? That's cool. But so I was like, what is a female Japanese warrior, and the female Japanese warrior is actually called an Onamusha. And I was like, okay, Musha is, it's kind of cool. I guess if I was more into Japanese, it would sound cooler, but it doesn't sound super, super cool to me. And I was just, I don't know. And I thought in my head of the name Rowan. So I Googled that really quick, just because it had a similar, there's a word for this, right? When a word sounds like another word. So it's got like that sort of, not a rhyming, but anyway. So the word roaming, in my head was like, oh, it's like Rowan. And I looked up Rowan, which is apparently a unisex name. And it's actually a tree. I believe it's an English tree. And the nickname for this English tree, the Rowan tree, is Witch's Bane. And as soon as I saw that, like literally the moment I saw the phrase Witch's Bane, I was like, that's your name. Rowan Witchbane. Ro for short. Yeah. Or, Roro Kitty. Whatever. I know that sounds kind of cheesy. But yeah, she's really cool. So, I got a cat. She's got an apartment. She's got a new pal with me. We get along really well. It's pretty cool. She does do her night terror sometimes, She sleeps all day and then wants to run around like a crazy person at night, tearing stuff up. So that's fun. But anyway, that's the story of how Crying Mo got his cats. Oh my gosh, it is so warm in here. Good Lord. I've drenched my shirt. It's crazy. I had to turn the fan off, so I could record that story about the cat and this bit here. So let's go do a house tour. Yeah. An interior house tour. Yeah, let's do it. One thing I want to say right off the bat is that this build took an insane amount of time. I wonder what it looks like with shaders on. I haven't looked at it with shaders yet, although I'm sure the time lapse was all on shaders. So, yeah, there we go. It looks pretty nice. I am actually pretty happy with it. Pretty happy. Let's do this here. Go out of the zoom cam, which isn't smooth at all. It's pretty slick for me, if I do say so myself. I don't like the strobiness out of that. It's probably just my computer being too hot. We'll just turn off the shaders. It doesn't change too much. But anyway, I want to say one thing about this build, which of course is the river here. Right, and that's me down there, right? I'm just using the free cam. So putting in the little river that kind of cruises around it and come down here, and the build itself literally took me, now I know it took me this long because I did all the recording. I even had a failed recording, an hour's worth of footage, which you may or may not have noticed in the time lapse where, what's it called, replay mod. It corrupted the recording file. So I added up all the minutes there because I recorded pretty much the entire process of me building this house or doing this build, from this pathway on up to there and everything on the side, which we'll go check out in just a second. So doing the build with the schematic. I want to be clear about that, right? I had the schematic, which is here, right? We have the schematic. Of course, it's all built, so you can't. There's the big bounding box that you can see right there. So everything's built, and except for the blocks that aren't quite exactly the same, they retain the orange thing. But anyway, this build took me with the schematic, took me over 7.5 hours. It took me almost 8 hours to do it with the schematic. That is, I never understand why it takes so long. It just took me so long to place so many of these blocks, and there's just so many inventory. Like my inventory was just so full, and I had to keep going back to get little bits and pieces, and it just took forever. I just am really surprised how long it took, even with the schematic. Like, this is already designed. It took me 4 days to design this, which I know it doesn't look like it. I know. It just takes me a long time to do things. I actually worked on the house originally, and it was fairly different. I think I really saved this face right here, but everything else was pretty different, and I scrapped it when I was maybe a third of the way through designing. And then I built this, and I'm really, really happy with this. I think it looks pretty fantastic. The problem with the first build was it was too big. It was actually too big, and it really mimicked that build over there, the armor smith. Dang it. Is he called an armor smith? No. The armorer, whatever. His it was big like that, big and rectangular, and then I had like a diagonal. I really wanted to try a diagonal sort of build, and I will at some point. So I had a diagonal piece coming off. But anyway, it was just too big, and it literally filled this entire area, and it was just too large, and it didn't fit the roof line, you know, that we've kind of got going here. I mean, whatever. I know I build different things. That one doesn't really match, and the modern house doesn't really match. But anyway, I wanted to fit more, and this fits. I think it fits really well. The little Axe Harbor sort of design here. And anyway, but that design work alone took me like 4 days to do. So yeah, we cruise up here. Got I don't know. I really do like this palette. These candle noises always freak me out. I really like the color of the green candles when they're lit. Pretty nice. We got a little bridge here. Cruises over our little underground or spring or whatever. The water that comes flowing down. I put up the bamboo just to sort of block off all the dark oak back there. And I'm really proud of this little piece right here. I know there's just odd things that I'm like super proud of. This right here, like an old log, right? Like hanging out over the river. I love the acacia, and of course we can block off the end, you know, so we don't see the orange, but with the moss on top, I just think that's such a cool little detail, you know, like an old log half submerged in the mud or whatever. Although it's not quite submerged, it'd have to be in the water, but then I couldn't hang any stuff from it. But anyway, so yeah, this is our toolsmith's house, and of course he's got got the nice awning and then the barbecue and everything. But yeah, let's see the interior, because that's really what we're here for. So I do want to put a curtain up here, like I have. Oh, I thought I had 2 curtains here. I guess I ran out of banners. Oh, I have a couple of curtains here. So anyway, I did put a lot of work into the interior. So yeah, maybe that's what took a long time too. But it's just I really like this floor pattern. Thought it was kind of cool, and I really like this roof. It's almost like this weird acoustic or Art Deco-y design roof tile pattern. I don't know why, but it just seems to work. It was sort of a fluke that I put it in here, and I was like, oh, that looks really cool. I'm going to keep it. So yeah, anyway, got little floating weirdnesses here. Got a little closet with stuff, room for stuff here. Got our little sliding panel doors to come out on our little balcony and check out the rest of the neighborhood. Crazy wizard tower, crazy guy over there, and got our big axe. Anyways, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm digging it. We go upstairs. We'll go upstairs before we got to the back. So the stairs, we got little bookshelves, and of course the beehives always work really well in there. I thought these little rattan tables, actually the scaffolding worked fairly decent because of the yellow with the oak and everything, and we got the yellow frog lights. So then we kind of cruise up to the second floor, and that's where we've trapped our good buddy here, the toolsmith, where we get our diamond shovel and diamond pickaxe, and we can trade iron with him. Oh, I didn't know that. That's a good trade right there. Wow, that's cool. So anyway, yeah, so we haven't traded with him at all yet. This is always a weird thing where I run into this issue where we have this stairwell that comes up a wall, but then I've popped out, the width of the walls, the house is popped out a little bit. So then we have this weird edge right here. We'll take a nap. And then we have a little, there's always spaces left over, right? So this is like the attic space of this is right above the, you know, where the patio is down there. But yeah, I just thought, oh, it's kind of cool. It's like a weird, like, what's going on, dude? Why's this guy got a weird little, like, tiny altar with candles? He doesn't have anything in here in storage. But anyway, always cool to put little weird details in some of these interiors. Anyway, we go up to the third floor, which we have the bare roof that we're inside of, right? So I kind of put these beams across just to sort of give it some detail and not be so wide open, you know. And then we have our little couch here and TV room sort of thing. There's our TV. I don't know. I don't know about this as a television or whatever. I have no idea. It's pretty silly, but it's kind of like a 1930s set, right? With the round screen and the weird little antenna. And I got a little wardrobe here. There's nothing in there, but you know, it's kind of cool. And then, yeah, these weird symbols. I don't know what this is all about, but looks kind of cool. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, a little art deco-y sort of table here. Yeah, anyway, this is this one right here is actually, I don't know if there's a way to tell the difference. It doesn't look like it. So these are note blocks, and that is a jukebox. Yeah, fancy. So you can we could play something in there. Well, actually we couldn't, because I guess I covered the top of it. So it doesn't really matter. I should just take it out of there and put in a, whatever it's called. We do have like a little window over here that the stairs kind of go up and over. I always like tuck the windows in there where you can fit them. It's always nice. Yeah, you're hanging out. You're safe. It's all lit up in here. Got our cool little kitchen doors or whatever, you know. And then we kind of go into like the work area, I suppose. This is sort of like a kitchen / workspace. Yeah, nicely decorated. Got some frog lights up in the ceiling. Sort of, you know, fluorescent tube-ish LED lighting or whatever, you know. I got the little tricks there, the sink with the water, and little item frames with the whatever. And then out here we've got a little bit of a patio, a work patio. It's not a work shed, but like a work patio. But anyway, I don't know, smokers and lava and different things, and some water for quenching hot iron. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So that's it. That's the house, and this little. Let me jump out of here like this in this view. So yeah, we have the little kitchen area is like a little offshoot from the main house, right? It's got a little bit of a different roof pattern, and yeah, so you can see this side of the house where you couldn't see that from the other side, and yeah, I actually am I'm really happy with this. I feel like the birch with the bone and the mangrove, I don't know. I just feel like it works really well together. I think it just works well together. And it took, as always, it took a while to come up with the scheme to find the colors that match. And then the mud, of course, on the lower part, right? We have the mud down here. Actually, there's no basement, and I do have room for a basement. As you can see, it's all covered up with dirt here. So it is possible that I could put a basement in here. I don't know where I would put access to the basement. Maybe right here. Maybe that door would open instead of a chest. There's a trap door. So I can put a little path that can kind of come down here and join into this path right here, maybe. And then we could actually have, or the path, another path could kind of come over here and just connect with this. Obviously, we're going to put another build up in this area right here. I think this is where the weaponsmith's house will go, sort of here. But I want to do sort of a weird design for that house. But we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm actually really stoked about this. I really it took a lot of time to design and to build, and I'm actually very, very happy with it. The only other thing I was going to do is put a little bridge right here to go from here, bloop, right over here, because I did kind of, I mean, the whole point of that river was to come down and like connect to here, which is great. We have a little pond space, but we have this little sort of Zen garden and tucked down in here, right? I actually could put a little more bamboo here, and then you have a little overgrown bench, and we got some sea pickles in there for lighting. All of our light levels are fine. There should be no spawning around in here, so it should be good. Yeah, we just have a little yellow Zen place right here. Land right here for a second. Yeah, I mean the black roof is it's a little dark to have like all the solid black roof in there. Obviously the red sort of highlights it. Really do enjoy that build there. I really do like. I really like that house. It just seems so cool. The blue one over there, the butcher's house was my favorite. I still really like it. But yeah, I really do like. I don't know. I like this latest build. It does put this side of Axe Harbor down here to the left, right there, to the left of the axe. Boy, that's really lacking down there. Those things need those buildings are really, really sort of beginning of the series, old school, where I struggled so much just to make even a relatively simple house. I'm really happy with how a lot of these buildings have come together. So looking forward to doing some more. It's coming together. Super cool. All right, guys. I hope you guys have a great couple of weeks. Take care, and I'll see you when I see you. See ya.